Thank you for being here. And the pretext was when Piotr decided to show this film here about Je m'appelle Varsovie, this poem about Varsovie. And I would like, you know, and knowing that you'll be here in the jury, and our friend Dorota, I invite her to join us in a way that we talk about your relation with this city. I think Piotr already told exactly what he thinks about Varsovie, in a way.
Not exactly.
But I'd like first to have your opinion about what you heard, what you see today, and what is his relation, because you, Jerzy, were away of Varsovie for a long time as well, and now you are back, and he's going, Piotr as well, he's not living there all the time, going to have this, but anyway, I think all of you have a strong relation with this city, and I'd like to hear about that.
I would have to congratulate Piotr, because I think for the first film it's amazingly well done, and I must say that Piotr caught the climate of the city. It is very much like this. It's a mixture of sadness because of the still existing Second World War memories, very visible in town, but also in a kind of optimistic way with all those funny murals. I must say that it's very good. I think that Piotr decided to try another field of creation, because I guess it always helps. Actually, all three of us are dabbling in different genres. Dorota being a very well-known writer, she's also a pop singer. I dabble in painting. Now Piotr is not only the famous pianist, but also a filmmaker. So good luck on that new field.
And you, Dorota, what?
For me, it was. I was really curious about this film because I know Piotr personally, and it was extremely interesting for me how he sees to see Warsaw, the city I live in, through his eyes. It was a privilege. Anyway, the vision of Warsaw that he achieved in his movie is very bizarre, I would say. What an overwhelming, sad, handicapped place you showed us. Actually, I would like to ask you, why is it so green and weird and overwhelming?
The sadness, you mean, yes? Well, I think it's a very sad city. I mean, for me, it's the recent history of this city is, I think, absolutely unique in Europe, or unique anyway to the Western world, I think, and what this city went through, especially during the Second World War. I think very few people in the West realize what happened there. You know, the scale of destruction, the scale of massacres, the scale of the whole thing. You know, and we're not just talking of the Jewish part of the city, which Warsaw was the biggest Jewish city in Europe by far, before the war. So this part, of course, just stopped existing in 43. But then after the Warsaw Uprising in 44, the Germans literally liquidated the city. I mean, besides all the dead people and all the, human tragedy, the buildings were destroyed systematically by the Germans, methodically, house after house, street after. There was no military reason. There was no pragmatic reason behind. It was some kind of pure hatred or pure destructiveness. Yes, completely irrational actually. And the inhabitants which were left in Warsaw at the end of 44, well, the Germans had spared them what they did not spare to the Jews, basically burning people alive in the buildings. So what they did is they spared people from that and they expulsed the remaining inhabitants, in which my grandmother and my father, who was 3 years old, were. And for a few months, I think from mid-October till January, mid-October 44 to January 45, the city was literally empty, except German commandos who were destroying the city. The city was actually emptied from its inhabitants. I think this, I don't know where else something like this happened, and the goal was for the city not to exist anymore. There was such hatred, this city was supposed to basically disappear completely. And so for me, to answer your question, a bit long, but how can it not be sad? How can it actually not be sad? So today you live there, I've lived there and I still go there, but the history to me is still close enough to remember this, and I see this everywhere. And if you go to Warsaw, on certain days, you see these candles everywhere, and I try to put these candles, but I put too much of them in the film, but it's a cemetery, Warsaw, it's a gigantic cemetery, and of course, people have their activities, they make money, they drive their cars, babies are being born, people fall sick, they die, people make love, people make all sorts of activities, but underneath there is this, cemetery, and I'm really sad when I think of this, So I don't know if the movie conveys this, but maybe that's also one of the reasons why I don't live there. I don't think I could live there.
Yes, I think that it's a very anti-touristic movie.
That was the goal, so that's I'm very happy to hear. So the mayor of Warsaw will not give me a prize for promoting Warsaw.
Yes, probably.
And promoting business.
You shouldn't count on this.
Yeah.
And you, Jerzy, when you were away so long, you came often to Varsovie, or you stayed? And did you feel any nostalgia of the city, of living in California for a long time, and now you are decided one day or the other to come and to stay? What is exactly your relation with this city?
Yes, I was away from Poland for solid 25 years, and about 10 years ago I decided to go back. And first I didn't know where to go, because I was living in California for many years, and I live in a very beautiful place in Malibu, with the ocean all around me, and the mountains, and the view was so spectacular that when I decided to to leave all that behind, I thought what kind of view I should have in exchange for that. And I decided to go deep into the forest. So my first place where I started to live in Poland was the old hunting lodge in Mazuria, in the northern part of Poland, deep in the forest with the wild animals, and then I start slowly to look for an apartment in Warsaw, just to be able to, to function there, to make movies. And fortunately, I found a place which is really suitable for my aesthetical needs, which are rather high. So I have this comfort that I stay in a place which I really like, and I must say that Warsaw has some acceptable parts which can be very enjoyable. We have some very good restaurants now in Warsaw, and there are some beautiful places. The parks are great, and all those colorful historical buildings which you see on the film, they were absolutely damaged in 1944, and they were rebuilt just after the Second World War, exactly to the shape as they were. So they are not 500 or 600 years old. They are only, how many? 70 years old. Okay.
And you, Dorota, you live there all the time. You see the city in another way. You see it with other eyes, with other...
Of course, I confront every day this aspect of symmetry in the city, because that's what I agree with. It's very distinct, and living in the city, you confront it every day. But I was shocked by this silence and very static images, because for me the main energy of the city is extremely young, aggressive, obsessive. For me, it's an industrial city where people almost only work. It's a city of workaholics and full of some weird movement, feveric, and I was surprised that someone can see it in this way, as a cemetery, as some concrete desert.
But I don't see this like the film of Piotr, like it was showing Varsovie like a cemetery. I think he gave what every city has, such different aspects. But what is exactly, but without avoiding this, this where. What happens to the city, but at the same time, there is so very, live moments in the film, and that's, I see it in another way. I see it like a city that, okay, I have a lot of things to discover if I go there. That's what
well, I think what is important to say if I talk about this movie is it's not a film about Warsaw. So it's not a film about how Warsaw is today. It's not a documentary, and it's not a film which I would say it's not a realistic film. So I don't think it's a film which I completely agree with what you said about Warsaw. Even though I don't live there, so probably you are much more confronted to the daily functioning. I have a much more, I have lots of phantasm about it, yeah? And, but I think for me it's important.
But I also think that's why your look at it can be fresh and...
I don't know if it's fresh, it's lots of fantasies probably, but it's definitely not a documentary, in the sense that it does not...
You mean that it's your interpretation
it's actually my internal, very subjective, little bit poetic
impression?
Like a poem to Varsovie. Like
Sorry?
It's like a poem to you.
Yes, it's a sort of poem image, very personal, about something that touches me, about something that, yes, that touches me deeply about the city, to which obviously I'm very attached also, and I have a love for this city also, and so my only hope with these pictures I took and the music I put on the pictures was that I can convey something of this, of something very, you know, personal and maybe poetic about the place, you know, and leaving whoever watches it to interpret it the way they want, you know, because people are not meant to know the history. Lots of people just, you know, it's just a city, you know, and you come from Buenos Aires, for example, you are not, I mean, somebody else comes from Lisbon, and just let the audience interpret this however they feel like, yeah? But having suggested something, I hope, I don't know.
Well, using kind of cheap psychology, maybe subconsciously you were trying to find an excuse. Why did you left?
Why don't I live there? Yeah?
Any question? Or?
I don't think it's necessary microphone. No. I would like to, because I'm musicians, picture music for me was, you know, like Chopin, Skolimowski, and Jerzy, the kind of way from tonality and romantic music to tonality and aggressive music of Weber. But you use that chronological, so Weber is connected with modernity of the city or with ugliness of the new city. For me, it was because I like Weber, but it was an aggressive music. And at the end, you return to Chopin. So I would like to, if it's possible for you to talk about your choosing of the music and the connection.
Yes, I mean, you know, this film was made without any scenario. This is important to say. So I had absolutely I have no scenario. I had no scenario in my head. I had no construction in my head. I went to Warsaw, I took a small camera, and I started shooting. And you know, and walking in the city, just trying to look around and what would I like to frame? You know, cadre, you say in French. I don't know how you say in English.
Cadre.
Yeah, the frame.
Frame.
Which frame has a story? Which frame says something? Of course, to me, to my eyes. And then the film actually made itself in the editing studio. And so I looked through all the images, and then the first image somehow imposed itself. On the first image imposed itself, I said, well, actually, what music would I put? You know, and so I started with the Chopin Mazurka. It was really very random. There was no. It was a, you know, the city, the film made itself. Sometimes the image dictated the music, sometimes it was the opposite way around. But for example, for the Weber, I spent a lot of time filming this wall. It's the wall of the ex-Gestapo prison during the war. And I don't know, it was very cold that day, and very, very cold that day, rain and horrible weather. Which often is the case, I think you agree. And I spent, I don't know, maybe 2 or 3 hours just going very slowly through this wall. And then going up to the gate of this ex-prison to the wires on the top, you know, and you know, lots of subconsciously I thought of the Weber variations, you know, and I don't know if it's a question of upbringing, because for me it's, or aggressive, because for me Weber is not aggressive. It's, for me it's highly romantic music, Weber, you know, it's very intense music for me, and it's a different type of romanticism from Chopin, of course, but it comes straight from Mahler, I think, and back from Schubert, actually. For me, it's very Viennese, Weber. So I would not associate it to ugly or not, but somehow I thought of Weber with this wall. This was like this sequence of the wall, and then it was the third movement of the Weber variations. And then for some reason I decided, okay, why not put the whole variations, which anywhere last only 6 minutes and a half. Weber is always very short. So, yes, it wasn't, it's not something that happened consciously, really. I don't know if I answered your question.
Yeah. Because there's a progression from old music, from left to modern music. It's a real progression.
Weber and Chopin. And after it's very funny, where you use the Polonaise with the soldiers. You know.
Well, this is very strange because for example, I find it personally humoristic, this march of the soldiers. And I was very surprised. I showed the movie a few weeks ago when the editing was almost ready. I mean, the mixing was not done. And I showed it, well, actually to my friends who were here, Diego and Paolo. And I had the impression you found this sequence a bit amusing with the soldiers. And then I showed it to 2 Polish people in the afternoon. And they didn't find it amusing at all. They found it very serious and patriotic.
The Poland sense of humor is different from ours.
And this is when I realized maybe I'm not Polish, actually. I don't know. Having lived abroad for very long.
Thank you. I really enjoyed the thing you did. It's dreaming, and somehow I was in a mood, dreaming with you without words to explain anything, and you were able to transmit a deep feeling of multiple things in the work you do. So I really enjoy, as Paulo says, this kind of report, and the poem is personal. And yes, I am from Buenos Aires, but somehow my grandparents are from Poland, so it was extremely impressive also to see that, because I never been in Poland, and the 7 sisters from my grandmother and the 7 brothers from my grandfather were dead in Poland. So, but somehow I saw in the film I saw a lot of love, and I saw a filmmaker doing beautiful things. So thanks for that.
Thank you.
And only one thing, but it's, you know, he used the words are very modern that he used in the movie.
The words?
The words, the small words, and that translated very modern.
Well, this is unfortunately not translatable. It's not translatable. It's how because kurwa is not translatable in what it means, and it means nothing actually. It means everything and nothing, kurva. You can.
But were these football fans? Or?
Actually, this was a sequence. I was filming something else, of course. I was actually filming. It was the last night. I was walking around and filming, I think, the Palace of Culture. And behind me, I heard this conversation of 2 men talking about football. And I thought this is interesting. And so
I wonder if they are conscious how famous they are now.
Well, I just had to be careful because I really wanted to catch this on the microphone of the camera, but I could not film them, obviously. So I kept pretending I filmed something, and I was just walking backwards and just listening to this kurwa dialogue. And then, of course, there was a question where to put it, whether to use it at all, because my idea of this movie was nowhere at all. So, in fact, I didn't want any words at all. As I said, I had no plan and no scenario. My only scenario was that there would be not a word in the movie. But at the end, it was just too tempting, you know. And I thought about after this pompous, yes, patriotic or pseudo-patriotic Polonaise, it would make a nice, you know, contrast and it would counterbalance things. And I hope this worked. Yes, and I did a night traveling from the bus. And I thought this would maybe suggest there's two football fans talking, you know, about football on the bus. The funny thing was when I was filming this and when I was filming something else, I was turning my back to them, I imagined two youngsters, sort of bald heads, you know, with training shoes and I saw in my imagination their faces, you know. And when I switched off the camera, I turned back. There were two very elegant gentlemen.
President and Premier.
Probably today's President and Premier, yes. Talking. And I wish I could show that contrast. That actually, they were very distinguished, respectable gentlemen.
Legend fans. Okay, thank you very much. And thank you.